For this video, I like to showcase the really immense and awesome collection of world sounds that you can find in Sounds of KSHMR Volume 3 that give you instant inspiration and get away from the normal synths. None of us are immune to getting writer's block, and nothing is better than finding something weird and cool, especially from some other part of the world, to give you inspiration, build a track around. And in this case, we're going to be using a sax sample taken from Europe. It's got a distinct, distorted kind of quality to it. It sounds like this. And then I chop it up on the second half to give it a little bit more of interesting feel, so it doesn't get repetitive. Now this is in E, and I shifted it to F, but it's not quite a minor or a major scale. It's what I call a F Arabic scale. And what that looks like is this. So you've got an F, a G flat, you have an A B flat, a C. It's really a wacky looking scale. It has a very familiar quality though when you listen to it. It's like, you know, Arabian Nights sort of feel. Drafting chords to this can be really difficult. The best thing to do oftentimes is to leave out the third, so you have these sort of gender neutral chords where you've got just the first and the fifth. Now I created chords that would go with our sax riff. Sounds like this. So you get this very interesting F sharp chord that you can throw in there. But I decided that adding chords was a little bit too musical. And I thought the best thing to do would be to keep it sort of hip hop, sort of gangsta. And we're going to use this brass stab. Sounds like this. Now that's just taken from the orchestral section of Sounds of KSHMR Volume 3, classic brass stab. And we're going to use the root, which is an F, and then we're going to go up one semitone because that falls into our unique Arabic scale. And it's just going to do root, and then root up a step, and then back down the root. So like that. Has a very cool Middle Eastern feel. Together with the sax sounds like this. And then down. So we've got the whole feel sorta, and we don't want to lose that feel. So we're gonna bring in some other instruments. The next in our orchestral instruments is gonna be this collegno loop. Collegno is really just strings, except they're smacking on it in a really unusual way. That's percussive, sounds like this. So it's like a movie. It's the tension is there, the suspense is there, and in the second half we're going to go to this. Originally sounded like this. Very low tremolo that's happening with the orchestra, and we're going to pitch it to our track. I've cut it up and I've given it just some few ups and downs to keep it interesting. And together with our riff, we've got this. Right? The next thing that you're hearing there is these little tremolos that also come from the orchestral section. This one's called violin suspense. Just a little kind of resonant thing that keeps you going from one bar to the next. The next thing that glues it all together. So this would be a string player that's basically starting at one note and running up an octave. And all together, our orchestral section sounds like. So it's nice and suspenseful. We got like a movie that we're creating right now. Next thing we're gonna need is probably some drums, right? So we want to stick with our palette of something worldly because the bassist, our sax, it sounds worldly. And I picked up the first thing that I saw was just this ethnic drum loop one. And I took a little flam from the percussion folder and it's an E, and we're an F, so I just pitched it up 1. One of the great things about this pack is everything's key labeled. Try to be as key labeled as possible. Okay, so now with the drums. The next thing, which is very important, of course, is the kick. We have a stomp. And what's nice about that, it sounds sort of human. It doesn't sound like a perfect EDM kick or something. It's got a human feel to it. And then we have the 808. Just to keep it gangsta. All right, now together with everything so far, let me mute the stuff we haven't gotten to yet. That'll be that stuff. So far now, we've got this. Now what's great, I think so far we've used just the right amount of things that make it feel part of the world of the sax, things that sound organic, but we gave it some balls, and we did that with the 808. Now, the next thing that we're gonna want are claps. But we could be a little smarter than just adding a normal hip-hop clap, and we can use something organic once again. We're gonna use this clap, which I'm really proud of, this folder. It's called church claps. Now, before I've done stadium claps, which are super big, and then there's regular claps. Church claps are somewhere in the middle, and they turned out to be exactly what was missing in a lot of the tracks that I was producing. I wanted something just in between where it sounded like a group of people in a church that were clapping. There's a lot of others. They always just seem to be just the right thing. I'm really proud of these. And to make it a little more clicky, a little more dry, to have some dry layer that makes it stick out, I added one regular hand clap, which you also find in the pack. Just little clap, just a little hand clap, and together sound like this. And together with the drums, we got this. Okay, add in some of our loop. It hits, but it doesn't feel normal. Feels like from some other part of the world, but it hits. Okay, so now let's listen to the whole thing together. All together, these things created this world of sound that fit together just right, complemented our sax, and created this beat that would have been impossible to do if we were using synths. There's just something human and imperfect and awesome about it. So I really encourage you guys, as much as you can, try to put soul into your music and find easy inspiration by using instruments from around the world, which you can find in Sounds of KSHMR Volume 3.